One of the most versatile lenses you can have in your camera kit if you're a photographer or videographer, in my opinion, is a macro lens. Macro is not just for taking pictures of beautiful flowers and insects. It goes beyond that. It's great, of course, for product photography. It's essential for product photography for a lot of pros out there. Portraiture photography, product video. I mean, there's so much you can do with a macro lens. And it's also very sharp and very well corrected. Now, the lens that I use 98% of the time on this channel for all the B-roll that you see here when I'm doing lens and camera reviews is this right here. This is the 105 f2.8 micro lens from Nikon. It's fantastic. I love this lens. But it's 105 millimeters, so it can be a little bit long depending on how you want to shoot. Now, they do make a 55 as well, but that's also a little bit short. Now, Sony has had a 90 millimeter f2.8 it's been out for a number of years, but they have not updated. I'm not too sure why, but they haven't done it. Tamron has decided to fill that void. Now, Tamron's been known to make macro lenses for 45 years. We know them for zoom lenses, but they have a long history in terms of macro lenses. The first was a 90 f2.5, and now today they've updated that 90 millimeter macro lens to 2.8 for the Sony E mount and Nikon Z mount. 12 rounded aperture blades, 1:1 magnification, close focusing at 23 centimeters. This is a phenomenal macro lens, and potentially my second favorite Tamron lens over the past couple of years outside of the 35-150 f2.8. Awesome lens. Let's talk about this. Okay, before we kick things off, big thanks to Tamron Singapore for providing the lens for review. With that said, these are my thoughts and my thoughts only. You know, I love a good macro lens. You know, I use macro not just for video, but also even for film photography. Mind you, a little bit of a tip. If you want sharp images when it comes to film photography, get a macro lens. A good friend of mine, Peter Chin, told me this. He's absolutely right. It can really give your film images a much sharper, more modern look. Some people like that, and if you do, check that out. In terms of design, this is a very minimal lens. Most Tamron lenses are. You've got a focusing button here so you can lock your focus, which is essential, especially when it comes to macro. You obviously have your focusing limiting switch here from 0.7 meters to full or infinity, and that's pretty much it. Focusing right here is very smooth, it's very fast, and it's very responsive. So no issues at all with that. And of course, you have a USB-C port, so you can update the lens or change any sort of settings inside the lens. You can do that through Tamron software. That's essentially the lens, 67 millimeters for the filter diameter on this. The weight is coming around 1.4 pounds or 0.6 kg. It's lightweight, it's short, it's compact. It's very easy to take in your bag with you, especially if you're using a Nikon Z8 or Z9. You want a smaller lens. You know, those cameras are quite chunky, right? This is going to fit beautifully to those. Now, if you're using a Sony camera, no worries about it. It pairs well with any Sony camera system, but the performance out of this is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to show you a variety of images throughout my studio here to kind of give you an idea how it performs in terms of, you know, cameras, watches, you name it. I'm just taking a little sample images, but look at the sharpness. Even at f2.8, it is bitingly sharp. If you stop it down, does it get much sharper? I can't tell the difference. At wide open on the aperture, it's very, very sharp. I don't see chromatic aberration. I don't see any sort of green fringing on the fall for background, nothing of the sort. It is so well corrected. Of course, when you stop down, more things are in focus because when you're at f2.8, it's a very thin focal plane. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just show you this very mundane sample image of a Nikon lens cap, and you can see the line of where it's in focus. That's it. So at 2.8, you probably want to stop down a lot on macro lenses anyway, just to get more things in focus, especially if you're capturing text, watches, cameras, you name it. Usually I'm around f4, f5.6, sometimes f8, depending. But regardless of where you're at in the aperture range on this lens, it's there. And the fall off, okay, is creamy, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It just obliterates the background. You want to focus on the subject that's in focus, not the background. So a good macro lens will keep that background at bay and let you focus on that subject, and this does that very well. Are there any cons to this? No, not that I can see. I mean, some people say, why doesn't it have an aperture ring? I mean, no Tamron lens has had an aperture ring for quite a period of time, so neither here nor there. This lens hood on this is very interesting though. You've got an opening here, so if you want to use a filter or anything like that, or a polarizer, you can do that as well. So that doors for that. Nothing to complain about this lens. If you need a macro lens or you're thinking about getting a macro lens for your Sony E mount or your Nikon Z mount, and you don't want the 105 because it's a little bit too long and maybe a bit too large, you're thinking, well, the 55 is not there for me, this 90 millimeter is a very, very good option to consider. And in terms of the performance, the image quality, Tamron's knocked it out of the park with this one. They have knocked it out of the park. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the Tamron 90mm f2.8. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Are you looking to pick up this lens? Any questions you have, I'll try to answer those for you. If you like this video, like always, like, subscribe, follow, helps me out a lot. Share this video as well. And also, if you're looking to pick up this lens, I do have an affiliate link from B&H Photo in my description. No extra cost to you, but it does support my channel, so I would greatly appreciate that. With that, guys, take care, and we'll chat soon.